It's 6 p.m. I'm opening this meeting, January 10th, 2022. If you bow your head, we'll open with a word of prayer. Dear Lord, we ask that you bless this city and bless these people that run the city. Give us wisdom and discernment to make decisions that honor you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I'm gonna skip the information for council members. You've gone through those reports. We do have the introduction of a new building official.
Mayor and council, this is Jeremy Chestnut. He is.
Jeremy?
Nope. You wanna give him a few seconds of what history?
My name's Jeremy Chestnut. I'm the new building official. I've got a little over 10 years in experience in the field and performing exactly those duties and running an inspection department. Really like my job, so my door's always open. If anybody has any questions, or needs any information, me and my staff are here to help in any way that we can.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Let's see, you've gone through do you have any questions on your departmental reports? Don't think so.
I have a question on the departmental reports. On the police department, is that on the departmental reports? I'd just like to know what's going on with that.
I can't hear you. Could you
Oh,
speak?
I'm sorry, I said on the departmental reports, the police department, about the jail. I don't see that anywhere in here. Should that be in
Is
there?
that on a report?
Not yet.
No, not to my knowledge.
And we can't discuss what we're gonna do on the jail because it's not on the agenda.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if you got departmental reports, and if that's gonna be something that's gonna be,
Is it
should
on
be
the
not.
department report tonight?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, is there a reason why it's not on the departmental reports tonight, or what you think is?
Well, it's not a part of the departmental reports probably. It's gonna be a special item when we deal with it.
Okay.
All right, items for discussion. Oh, we do have one public comment, if you wanna
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
make your comment.
Behave, probably start the timer. Mr. Mayor and Council, I just want to say, part of what I do every day, pretty much, is deal with consultants. And several months ago, and actually a year ago, we as a region really started focusing on broadband because we saw what the pandemic had done, mainly with our school children and their inability to access their schoolwork, especially if they had multiple kids in the house. There wasn't enough bandwidth for all of them to do their homework at the same time. We've got testimonies of kids going to the library parking lot because there's Wi-Fi, they go to McDonald's or somewhere to get in the parking lot just to access Wi-Fi. So I just wanted to say tonight that having to deal with consultants, I deal with consultants that are very smart and have a lot of book knowledge. But there are a few consultants that don't have personal testimonies and have been in the trenches and seen projects truly completed. I called Denise this afternoon when I got back from Beaumont and saw that y'all were gonna entertain a consultant tonight by the name of Nathan Watkins, and I just wanna stand up and say, this guy's been in the trenches. He has actually seen a plan to fruition in Mont Bellevue, and I actually had the privilege of having lunch with him in Mont Bellevue and discuss what they did down there. And I was so encouraged. Paul, I got in the middle of our lobby and screamed because of the forward thinking that this council's gonna take tonight, I hope, and the fact that you are gonna engage with somebody that has truly been where we need somebody to have been and have not just know how to do it, but has done it. And that means a lot to me. I want to applaud you guys for even entertaining Mr. Watkins tonight. And I think this city will be much, much better off because of the action I hope you take tonight. But I also want to leave you with this, and I promise, Mr. Mayor, this is it. I also told Denise that I was encouraged by something that I read from the former mayor of Abilene. He's written a book called The Gift of Community. And we all know how important community is. And we've seen division in our community, but we've seen reconciliation too. And we know how important it is. The former mayor's name is Dr. Gary McCaleb. And he says, I am convinced that any sense of community we enjoy comes as a result of the charitable spirit and generous nature of others. We can budget for great structures, capital improvements, capital purchases, steel and concrete, but no one can purchase community. It can only be realized as a result of people who care enough to give of themselves to that very special cause called community. I appreciate your service and hope that that's all of our goal as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 1 for discussion and or action is to consider the approval of one set of minutes from December 13th.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimously. Consider, number 2, consider approval of the City of Jasper's fourth quarter investment report.
I'll make a motion to present. or
Do I have a
approve
second?
present.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Denise, do you have a comment?
No, I was just gonna say, it was just housekeeping. This is something that we're required by
Okay.
the auditor should do a report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 3, consider and approve a resolution authorizing the redemption of the City of Jasper combination tax revenue certificates of obligation series 2012.
This is the last debt that the city of Jasper owns as a certificate of obligation. Its original maturity would be 2033, but we have the funds and the bond is callable, so these certificates are callable. So we're asking for y'all to approve for us to pay this off on the regular February the 15th interest payment. It ends up saving us a little over $69,000. And
Well, I appreciate
What
you
was this
checking,
from,
and I'd
Denise?
like to make a motion
pardon
to.
me?
What was this from?
This is from what we bonded the money in 2012. 2 million of it was for capital and 2 million of it was for streets.
Make a motion to pass. I already had a motion. You got a
He's already had a
second?
motion. We had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, pass unanimously. Which one am I doing now? That was, okay. Number 4, consider adopting an ordinance regulating game rooms in Jasper, Texas. This was adopted by the county in October, and in order for our police department to enforce, this ordinance needs to be adopted by the city, correct?
That's,
What it is the city is covered by the blanket of the county for the game rooming, but in order for the city police to go out and adopt and enforce it here within the city limits, we would like to have an ordinance that basically says, yes, we adopt that ordinance for the game rooming limitations.
I got a chance to look over it. It's about 15 pages, I think.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to make a motion to table and address it after I've had a chance to look over it a little more. I haven't had a chance to go through all of it.
Well,
I looked over
Maybe
that.
something we'll address next month.
I mean,
I wanted to go through it. I think there's some verbiage about the number of machines and where the law would and wouldn't apply based upon the number of machines at the location.
well, I mean,
Is it basically the same as the county?
it's the same thing as the
Exactly.
county,
Okay,
and we're already covered by the county.
right. So I make a motion that we approve.
Well, hang on, we had a motion to table. Do I have a second to table? You
I'll
have
make
not?
the second to table it.
Okay,
I-
any further discussion?
I just want to look over it a little bit.
I understand.
That's fine.
There is one line amendment, permit application fee is $1,000, so that would be for the county and the city, so it'd be 2,000 for both, or just only $1,000 permit for the county.
Just the county.
And then
Just
the
the
city will be allowed to enforce what's in here.
All right, the motion is to table with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's three.
No,
No, one no.
Now, Mike, will you get another document, or, I mean, because this one's geared for the county, will you prepare another document?
Okay. Item number 5, introduction of Nathan Watkins.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, thanks City Manager for inviting me to come and speak to you tonight about your broadband project. First, I want to commend you for taking a tremendous step forward and commissioning a feasibility study. I've had a chance to review it, and y'all are well ahead of the game, and I think well positioned for success here in Jasper. A little bit about me. I'm from Mont Bellevue, Texas. Right after high school, I joined the Navy and spent 6 years from 2002 to 2008 in the Navy, served on the USS Enterprise and in Naval Special Warfare. After getting out of the Navy, I moved back home and went to school at University of Houston, where I obtained a Master in Public Administration and Continuing Education at Harvard University, and found my way to City Hall and started working there under the city manager that had been there for a while, Brian Easom, and long tenured city manager, and moved up to assistant city manager, and then he retired and had just commissioned a feasibility study. The feasibility study came back, and we were right in the position you are tonight, and said we could build a gigabit fiber to the home network, and he decided to retire and pass that along to me to implement it. I wasn't quite sure at the time whether that was a gift or a blessing or not, but it ended up being a tremendous blessing for the community and the city as we rolled that out. There was a lot of hurdles and potential pitfalls along the way. I always said when I was city manager, one of the great things about working for a municipality is oftentimes you never have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's done it before. But when it comes to broadband, when we rolled it out in 2015, there wasn't any other municipalities in Texas that had done it. So there was a lot of steps. We were literally inventing the wheel along the way. And as we got through all of that, we built a 65-mile gigabit fiber to the home network, true fiber to the node inside the router. And whenever I left the city, we had a 78% penetration rate. Nearly 2,000 of our 2,600 homes were connected. We had 100 businesses online. And it, more than anything, more than even providing a service of high-speed, reliable internet to our community, it changed the way our residents and our voters and our businesses viewed us as a community, because they had identified an issue and a problem that we had. When we first got started, we had 1.5 megabytes per second DSL. We coined that modern day dial-up. I mean, it was literally, you couldn't get on the internet half the time when you wanted to, and it would go out monthly, if not weekly. And because we delivered it as promised and successful, everybody got behind us and supported us for doing that. It was a 65-mile buried fiber network, very similar to what you are looking to do in here. We chose to go that route because we were susceptible to hurricanes in a coastal county just southeast of Houston down there. I know y'all have had y'all's fair share of high winds and rain from hurricanes here in Jasper, so I do think a buried fiber network is hardened against those natural disasters. Eddie had mentioned whenever the kids went home to learn and everybody went home to work during COVID, our total throughput in March of 2020 when COVID hit was 6 gigabytes. So citywide, we were using 6 gigabytes of data to service our entire community. It doubled within 1 month, and we were doing 12 gigs of data. There was that much learning and working and usage of the internet. And without NVLink, we would have been in the same position that a lot of communities across Texas were. And nobody obviously could have ever expected we would be in a pandemic of that order and that magnitude. But it definitely helped our school district and our citizens weather that storm. Just before that event, we had also just lit our football stadium. We used it selfishly as a free marketing opportunity to plug NVLink because everybody in the town, of course, is in the football stadium on Friday night, and they would open up their phone and a splash page came up, NVLink, and so our users that weren't connected got to experience it at least as a public Wi-Fi system and see the speed and the reliability. And the Dallas Morning News did a paper on it. They came down and did a front page article on NVLink, and it was whenever the Astros were in the World Series and they were at the Friday night football game and they were walking around talking to people, and people were streaming the Astros game and watching the football at the same time. So it was a tremendous effort, that we rolled out. There was a lot of decision points along the way. Since stepping out of city management, I chose to step down there to, offer exactly the services, hopefully that you're looking for tonight, which is to help other municipalities, bring broadband, high-speed reliable internet to their communities. But there's a lot of decision points along the way, and a lot of those we had to, we just had to sit down and really do our homework and learn, and they take time. One of the biggest challenges that we faced was, how are we gonna roll it out? Are we gonna roll it out in phases? Are we gonna turn everybody on at one time? So we thought politically, let's turn everybody on at one time. So we took pre-orders, and we had 750 people pre-sign up for MD Link. And by the time we got them, that 750 online, it had taken us 6 months. So that'd be a recommendation I could bring to the table and say, hey, when you pass somebody's house, if they want the service, bring it to them and turn their internet on. Don't make them wait. We had residents that were, moms that were asking for their children if they could get MD Link for Christmas and their birthdays, because they'd been on the wait list so long, and it was just, running around the community how successful it was. So I've looked at your feasibility study. I think you are going right down the right path. You still have a lot of questions you're gonna have to answer as you go through design. As somebody that's done it and been there and been in the trenches, as Eddie mentioned, I'm that person that can provide those answers and assurance that you're not veering left when you should veer right. And there's a lot of different ways to deliver it. There's a lot of different communities that are doing open access networks, and they're partnering with local providers, and there's a lot of different ways to do this. I've worked with the city of FAR, the city of Harlingen, city of Victoria, Aransas County. Before I left the city, we were entertaining several cities across the state that were looking to do this. The strangest call we got when I was there as city manager was from the city of San Francisco. Of all places that wanted to know how to build a municipal broadband network, you would think the hub of technology, they would have that down. Now, they weren't gonna deliver broadband to their community, but they wanted to build their own internal network, and they wanted to know how we were utilizing it for our internal infrastructure. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them for you tonight.
Well, I know the city manager of Dayton speaks highly of you.
Yes, sir. He was my former public works director, and we stole him from Lufkin. He was assistant city manager there and previous employee of Jasper himself, and came down and he helped iron out the public works department, and he's since moved on to Dayton, and he's got a broadband project that he's inherited, and he's called me as well, and I think I'll be working with him in Dayton on his project to help see it come to fruition as well. They've got some challenges there. He shared with me, and it's what you don't want to happen when you roll out a project, I think. The previous administration had spent $8 million on the project, and they still have not connected a single business or resident on the project. So they've got some hurdles to overcome, and I hope to be able to get in there and help them as well.
Y'all have any questions for Nathan?
I read an article about you, I did,
Yeah.
And you shared it.
but I did, and I shared it.
Nathan's a bit of a celebrity in Texas, especially. I helped with the feasibility study
Yeah.
there, and I haven't met you yet, but I'm excited about it. Like, I listen to a weekly podcast where you've been on
Yeah.
that and stuff, so.
Broadband communities.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty excited about, you all entertaining, bringing someone in to help you make those decisions.
Yeah, it's,
good.
like a lot of things in life, it's being in the right place at the right time. I never thought that I would be in the broadband fiber business. It wasn't what I went to school for, but as y'all know, as a mayor and council and staff, working for a city, you never know what's gonna come your way and what you're gonna learn how to do. And for me, it just so happened to be broadband. And it went through the entire legal process. We sued the state of Texas for the right to issue the debt, and the city of Mont Belvieu became case precedent law. That allowed all counties and government entities to get into that business.
That's a huge feather in your cap.
It was I remember standing in front of the judge in Chambers County. We petitioned to have it in Chambers County and not in Travis County, and we did that by design and in between legislative sessions. But our district court judge, Randy McDonald, said, hey, I view this as critical infrastructure, just like water and sewer. And that's what we argued, and we used case law from the late 1800s and early 1900s, when cities like yourself were getting in the electrical utility business, and said everybody deserves the right to have electricity. You could literally take electricity out of the case law, plug broadband in, and it would read the same, and it was the same arguments. And he said, I couldn't agree with you more. Everybody deserves the right to have high-speed, reliable internet. And he goes, after you get your network built, I look forward to moving Mont Bellevue myself and having high-speed, reliable internet. So he was very enthusiastic about it. It's a great project. It'll be one of the best projects that the city undertakes, and y'all are still going to be one of the, as you move forward, you'll still be at the forefront of this across the state. As far as I know, Dayton and City of the FAR are the only two that are rolling out citywide broadband infrastructure projects currently that are in construction.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down.
I'd like to make a motion, to get you to submit some type of contract if this goes through, that we would hire you as our consultant. I know we don't know all the details yet. I'd like you to go ahead and pen something and turn that in to Denise, if you don't mind, or city manager. And, see if we can sort of be on the same page when this thing gets started.
Okay, that sounds good.
And a second to
Yeah,
that?
I'll second that one.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Is this an action item, or just, I thought he was just speaking?
Well, not really, we're just giving, it's right now, it's just approval to do it.
I say no, because I'd like to know a little bit more, so.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Consider approving the following. The order of general election, May 7th, 2022, and set the date for canvassing, May 7th, 2022. Explain this one to me. We're just setting the date as May 7th.
We just ordering an election.
This is ordering the general election where you have District 3, 4, and 5 going
Right.
up for council.
Right.
Uniform election is May the 7th, so you're ordering the general election, but you're also, I'm asking you to set a date for canvassing because you guys had already set a tentative date for May the 6th for your, council meeting, and not May the 6th, I'm sorry, for,
That's fine.
May the 9th.
Okay.
And that is too soon according to the state election code. The soonest that you can canvass is May the 10th, so we just wanna bump it one day.
Okay.
So it'll go the 10th, election on the 7th, canvass on the 10th. I'll
I
make a
got
motion to approve that.
Any second?
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All opposed, like sign. Pass unanimously. All right, consider approving an interlocal agreement between Jasper County and the city of Jasper for the May 7th election.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. Pass unanimously. Number 8, schedule a conference call with Brian Mabry with Keating Keast for an update time. This is our,
This is what,
Zoning.
this is on zoning, and he has been trying to get a meeting scheduled, but he wanted to do it by Zoom, and we're not capable of doing it right now by Zoom. We are in the process of doing that. So in order for us to have this meeting, the documentation that was in that binder right there in front of you, that you got in last meeting, he just wants to go over with it. And what we'll either have to do is meet in the mayor's office or get a long cord and drag the phone out here. It's probably not gonna be but a 30-minute meeting, but it's something that's in his scope of work, that before we take the next step on the ordinances, that he needs you to review that and give him about 30 minutes, he said, for discussion. So those are the options. We've gone through the days of the next week. On the 18th or the 19th, he's available from 8 a.m. to 1 o'clock or 3 to 5, or on the 20th, it's 8 to 12 or 3 to 5.
He doesn't want to entertain the idea of just driving down here and sitting.
Well, he's in Indianapolis, I think. He's not in Katy. He would, but he wants to charge us $2,000, and I don't wanna pay $2,000.
I don't know.
Now is the option, do we have an option where we can just all call in and just have
Mr.
quick
Mayor,
chat with him.
Go ahead,
We'll-
Eddie.
we have the ability to do a Zoom at our office in our boardroom with that drop-down screen, and if you wanna post the meeting at our office that day, you all can be in attendance, and we can do it then,
Sound good to you?
whatever time's good for y'all. We
I
can-
like that.
Yeah, that works.
I do too.
I'll make a motion to use Jedco's facilities, y'all just work out a date and time, I guess.
Okay,
Anytime's good with me.
Any of those three, if you'll just give us a little bit of heads up,
I'll get with Eddie and see what they're saying.
that way we don't conflict with something he has.
Okay,
Due to
Thank
my
you.
schedule, I'd like the 20th
Okay.
would be the best for me.
okay, we'll try to aim for that then.
Okay, thank
Can't wait to see what we can do for you.
you. Yeah.
I
All
don't know,
right,
it's all,
number 9.
have you got a motion
For what?
to change it to the, set that up? Do we need a motion second on that? You
I
just
didn't
wanna go
really
through
think we needed a motion.
Nah,
We need a
you
motion
good?
on that. We just gonna
Yeah.
Change
change
the
it.
executive
sorry.
decision. Okay, number 9, receipt and discussion of petition seeking the amendment of the charter regarding the cost of utilities provided by the city. Do we have any discussion? Further discussion? We're just waiting for an attorney to get back with us, right?
We really are, because what the petition is asking for is a change to the charter. And because of this, the local government code calls for a charter election. But I believe, we've been talking back and forth with the attorney, and if you'll notice the language in the paragraph of the petition that Mr. Land has submitted, we need more definition, because it's kind
Too
of wide
vague.
open, it's kind of broad there.
Well, what she said, the attorney was supposed to call me, but he didn't contact me.
Okay.
He's supposed to be contacting
Yeah.
him to find out, exactly what he wants to do. Our deadline is February the 18th.
Right.
To call a special election for charter change, charter amendment, so
What's our date?
the deadline is February the 18th
Okay.
to actually call it.
So what, he's looking for something, what, you're looking for something specific, or as it
He's
said?
looking, well, we have to, or you guys
More
have to
definition.
establish the ballot language. In other words, when you do a charter election, your ballot has to indicate what you're changing, what article, what section. We don't know which one you're looking to change
Okay.
or append. So all of that has to be detailed and ironed out. before we
Okay.
do
Okay.
that.
All right, so there's no action, move on.
So you're gonna table
Number
that,
10.
you're gonna table that till?
Yeah,
It's not an action item, it's just informational.
it's just, yeah. Number 10, consider approving the interlocal agreement with Jasper ISD for purposes of using the Jasper ISD buses and vehicles available to the city for convenience of citizens.
I'll make a motion to approve that, that's just a renewal on what we've been doing.
All right, do I
I'll
have a
second.
second?
I'll
I got a
second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously. Number 11, we're gonna go into executive session at 6:28. Just you?
Me, and for one portion of it, Eddie can give some information. Really on both of them.
Thank you.
Some things might change.